there are a very small number of people who are employed by legacy media, by print media, increasingly small. And then there are a lot of people who write, then there are some online publications, most of which are not profitable, but a couple of them are profitable enough that they're able to pay their writers what is considered a fairly decent amount within this sphere. So at Quillette is probably the most successful at the moment, and they pay writers 300 Australian dollars. I'm not sure how much that is in US, maybe 200 US dollars per piece, which is not that much if you bear in mind what I told you about how long it can take to write a piece. If it took you 3 weeks to write that piece, that is really not a lot of money. So even that is a nominal amount. And at Areo, we pay about half of that. So people's motivation generally for writing for these kinds of smaller publications is not financial. People write because, well, I would say about 3/4 of those who write for us are academics, and they want to write about something that is of interest to them or that seems important to them in a way that is more engaging and readable. Because when you write for an academic journal, you're expected to write in this completely turgid style that no one in the world enjoys reading, and that is almost incomprehensible even to other people in your field. I mean, that's the way it is. That is not fun for anybody. Nobody does that except because they have to. The question of why they should have to is another question. I think it's a completely ridiculous, onanistic scheme. But anyway, they want to write in a more engaging style and reach a broader audience. So, or they want to write on something that's outside their official field of expertise, but which they know something about. So that's about 3/4. The other quarter is people who are just feel strongly about a specific issue or want to introduce people to something that they love, like a favorite author or artwork, or scientists who are passionate about raising public awareness of issues in science. And therefore, their motivation is not to get paid. Their motivation is to get their work out there and be read. And then there are a small number of very popular journalists, most of whom have been in the field for decades, who have made enough of a name for themselves that they can live off their SUBSTACK. So they have a paid newsletter for subscribers. And in order to live off that, you only need a quite small number of subscribers. You know, if people are paying you $10 a month on a regular basis, you don't need that many subscribers in order to live off that. And there are unfortunate ramifications for that, which is that generally the writing in people's Substacks is better than the writing that's publicly out there in something like the New York Times. The New York Times writing is nothing like as high quality as most of the writing in Substacks. But you will only ever read the writing there if you are subscribed to that specific person's Substack. That's probably a much longer answer to your question than you required. But
no, it's okay. It's interesting because it is like how, you know,
I'm just getting a sweater.
I write a bit, and it's like, but it's like it's a trick is designing the piece to match the intended audience and the projected outlet. And I have not even come close to putting anything into the public sphere.
I don't think it's really necessary to match the piece to the specific audience and outlet. it, I mean, unless you're some kind of political pundit and what you're trying to get is votes or support for your party or something, it doesn't, I actually feel it doesn't make sense to try to spin a piece in that way. You should just write as clearly and engagingly as possible. Good writing is very rare. I mean, we only publish about 5% of submissions. And even in that case, what you see in the published magazine is often very different from what was submitted to us. So things are quite frequently, yes, are frequently heavily edited, and they're edited for clarity and concision of language. So they're edited to make them read better. The content, it's not to change the content or the tone. So I would say that it's, I don't think it's really necessary to think in terms of specific audiences for specific publications. I think it's, most places are just happy to get good quality writing.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of it in terms of like academic journal versus
Oh,
journal.
yeah. Well, basically, yeah, don't write for an academic journal unless you have to. And
I got that
so,
one.
God help you.